Welcome back. So good of you to take the time to join me today. I really do appreciate that. All right, I have a computer to show you, as usual. Generally, when I've done that, I haven't unboxed them. There's a reason for that. I live in a townhouse condominium. The front door leads to an entry foyer that is 2 flights down from where I am now. Now, I've been doing Power Macs generally, or the Mac Pros. They are large and heavy machines. It is just a lot easier for me to unbox them down there and use the handy handles to carry them up here. But this time we have something a little different. In this box here. Now, you will have looked at the title of the video and know what is in here. But I have not yet seen it other than pictures on an eBay listing. Okay. And finally, here we go. Bless his heart, there's no packing popcorn. A charger, that's a good thing. That was double boxed. It isn't exactly. He has got a lot of foam supporting it. And here it is, wrapped up. So let's get this out of here. All right. And here we are. Piece of paper, which is nice to put in there because it does, in transport, protect the screen a little bit from possibly being damaged by the keyboard itself. All right. And on this piece of paper is the user account. He set up a user account for it and put in a password. All right. "17-inch PowerBook G4. This, again, assuming the listing is accurate, and I have no reason to think it isn't, we'll find out better when we delve into the machine. This is not the most recent. The last version of the PowerBooks was actually released in 2005. Apple had already started the Intel conversion by that point. It's a little surprising they even released a new PowerBook at that point before coming out in 2006 with the MacBook Pros. This is a 2004 model. And my compliments to the eBay seller. He had 2 similar PowerBooks up for sale. Buy it now. One for $99, one for $139. I, being cheap, bought the $99 machine. He inadvertently shipped me the one he was offering for $139, which is in, I believe, better condition and has faster processor. He then messaged me last night concerning this, saying that it probably just wasn't worth the bother to have me ship it back, and then he ships me the one that I had intended to buy. There wouldn't be a whole lot more profit in there, and it's just generally more hassle than it's worth. I certainly appreciated that, and I'm very glad to have a higher spec PowerBook. Now, this is a 17-inch. In my past, I bought one 17-inch laptop. My first laptop was an IBM ThinkPad, back when that was the gold standard of laptops, back in my old Windows days, a long time back. That finally gave up the ghost, and I looked to replace it. I got an HP 17 inches. I hated it. It was dreadful. It was a huge thing. It was heavy. So I ended up replacing that with a 15-inch PowerBook, which I loved. And I used that PowerBook, I think it was probably about the same year as this, to 2004. I used that, I believe, up until I finally replaced it with a 2011 MacBook Pro, which I used up until the fire eventually destroyed that estimable machine. Yeah. And the PowerBook was great. It was the gold standard of Mac notebooks at that point. All right. Now, if we look at the back, it does seem to be in very good condition. There's some scratching on the back here. There's supposed to be little rubber feet. Those are always gone. I should be able to get something I can put on the back to take the place of that. But that's led to some scratching on the back in here and here in the battery case. You can push the button. There is a charge in the battery. And I always like that. You get these little lights here, and you press the button. I've got 3 of them lit up, so largely it is charged. And then you can open easily. I think pretty easily. The battery component. This is the battery. That can be changed. And you've got pretty easy access, if I'm remembering correctly, to unscrew 3 screws here, which are actually Phillips. How about that? And you should then get access to the RAM slots. There are 2 RAM slots in there. The machine would take a total of 2 gigs of RAM. And I, in fact, remember doing that back in the day, upgrading the one I had. All right, let's try to get that back in there. Okay, there we go. And now it just snaps in. And the lights go back on, it's all connected. All right. Now, it is a thick machine. My current laptop is a 13-inch 2015 MacBook Pro. And you can see the difference in thickness between the two. Of course, compared to the newer MacBook Pros, this is a relatively thick machine. But yeah, this is, I would always tend with laptops to get the smaller one. The screen, Retina display, the screen is fantastic. I don't need it anymore. I don't really use it that much unless I'm traveling, of course. Okay. But this will be fine. It was there. The price was right. Now, unlike the MacBook Pros, this does have a release. So you have to press the button. and she opens up here. Yep, it's booting up. That battery does have a charge. That in of itself is pretty amazing to me. Okay. Are we going to get anything on this screen? It's lighting up. There's the Apple logo. So what are we coming up to here? Taking its sweet time about booting up. Of course, we're so spoiled today with how quickly. I mean, that MacBook Pro's got a 1 terabyte SSD, and it boots up in about 20 seconds. Okay, so we've got Leopard. Okay, so we have working Wi-Fi. I'll deal with that in a bit. Trackpad is working. Okay. I'll open up Safari. You're not connected to the right, of course. Come on. Just want to get out of this. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, this is a little silly, me sitting here with the machine on my lap. I'll get this set up so that we can explore this, in more detail in a way so you can actually see what's going on. So, stay tuned. We'll be right there with you. All right, before we boot it up, we should take a little tour of the I/O. It's one of the nice things about having these thicker machines as opposed to the new ones. There actually is some I/O. We have here USB 2, FireWire 400, FireWire 800, Ethernet, S-Video out, DVI out. So we do have support for external monitors. All right, now on the other side, see Kensington lock. That's the power input. This was prior to MagSafes. Telephone modem. Yep, sign of the times. USB 2. And a PC slot. Do you remember PC slots? That might be interesting in terms of adding to this machine. All right. Microphone in, audio out. Probably for headphones. You could put a speaker on this too. So there's really quite a good selection of I/O and a very handy possibility for some expansion right there. Okay, so I'm going to plug in the power adapter and let this charge up a little bit, and then we'll see what happens when it's running. Stay tuned. Well, here's the PowerBook up and running again. Now, unfortunately, I can't get the tripod any closer to the screen, so it's probably going to be a little difficult to see. Anyhow, one interesting thing, it didn't really take that long. The battery did charge up from 42 up to 100%. I'll be curious in seeing about how long that battery lasts. Looking here, let's a quick look at the dock. text edit. What's that doing? Open. It tends to open itself quite frequently. All right, we've got numbers, pages. So yeah, iWorks 09, I believe, is installed, as is 10.4 Fox. I did log on to my home network. Look at about 10.4 Fox. Okay, feature parity release 19. It is now up to feature parity release 20, so I'll have to update that. Quick look in applications. This trackpad's going to drive me crazy. All right. Address book, Apple script, automated calculator, DVD player, expose. Yeah, okay. This is all so far the normal Apple stuff. iWork 09 would be one thing that's been added. And 10.4 Fox. Other than that, this would appear to be a clean install. What have we got under users here? Users, a customer. Yeah, so I'm going to have to decide, do I want to just make a new user account then delete this one? Or would it be just as well to make a brand new clean install of it? Oh, we can deal with that later on. This seems pretty clean as it is. All right, about this Mac. 1.5 gigahertz PowerBook G4. That's nice. In looking this up, this would have to have been the 2004 model, as I was saying. Okay, we can go more info, get system profiler up. PowerBook 5.5. 1.5 gigahertz. Okay, all of that's normal. I do want to look at memory, because I haven't broken it open far enough. Okay, this is good. So yeah, there are two slots. One is empty. So all I'll need to do is get a 1 gig DIMM to put in the empty slot. That will get up to the maximum of 2. Graphics and displays. All right. ATI Mobility Radeon 9700, excuse me. That's stock, but yes, 128 megabytes of VRAM, which is good. That's the build to order upgrade. So this has been upgraded. That's a good thing. What else do I need to check in here? I don't think there really is anything. No, really not. So, oh, and I'm lying through my teeth. Let's get System Profiler back up. All right. Yeah, disk burning. Okay, an Apple shipping drive, Machita, DVD-R, reads DVD, yes. CD write, yes, and DVD write. Okay. Now, assuming it works, because of course the gigabit Ethernet uh, drive has its issues. It reads DVDs fine, but doesn't read CDs. Strangely, uh, but anyhow, this could be very handy because if I did need to go back to the target disk route in order to get a CD drive available to a machine that doesn't have a working optical drive, it would be a heck of a lot easier to do with a portable, wouldn't it? So that's a good thing. Okay, and the other thing then to look at. All right. So yeah, it's an 80 gig hard drive. And that would be the original drive. Always a concern, older hard drives, are they going to last? Now, I did do a little searching and found a availability of 128 gigabyte IDE SSD, because the concern here, it is certainly possible to replace the hard drive, but replacing it with the hard drive is generally going to mean a used hard drive. Is that going to last any longer or better than what's actually in there? We don't know. 80 gigs will probably be enough as long as only Leopard is installed on this, and that's all we'll need to have installed on this. It would be nice, I think, though, to put an SSD in there. It won't be substantially faster because it's got, the Ultra ATA limitations to it as far as speed. It will be a little bit faster than a spinning hard drive. But more importantly, a new SSD is going to be more stable and far, far, far less likely to fail. So we'll have to look into that. So those would be the upgrades then. Bumping the memory and possibility of getting an SSD in there. We'll have to look into that. It is nice to see that battery working. We'll see how it is plugged in currently. It goes down to 99, then back up to 100. No big deal. I will have to do some testing to see how long that battery lasts. But this is shaping up to be quite a find. As far as prices, $140 basically, which is the asking price on this. To my mind, is a little out of line for this older machine, but having got it very fortunately for 100, I think we're very good with this. Okay, so we'll see what happens. I'm of course going to be setting this up with applications. We'll see about the upgrades and where things go. All right then, stay tuned. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, don't stay tuned too long because this is going to wrap up this video. So yes, be good to other people, and very importantly, be good to yourselves. Take care. So I think I will make an addendum to this video. What's going to happen with this machine? It won't be a can I use this machine in 2020 kind of video. We've been through enough machines now that can be predicted. Of course it can be used. If I can be pretty happy using a 1 gigahertz MDD Firewire 800, if I can be quite happy using a 733 megahertz Quicksilver, of course I'm going to be able to use this machine. This is a more powerful processor than either one of those two. So, my focus really is, would I be able to use this machine as my primary portable computer here in 2020? Now, it has the negative. It's a 17-incher. It is heavy. It was what was available, so we will maybe just pretend that it's a 15-inch version or something like that. But yeah, let's see. Can that work out? Now, I will need to do at least one upgrade. It's got 1 gigabyte of RAM in there. I do have another DIMM coming, and it's pretty easy to put that in. It probably would need a new battery. I did test the battery. Just sat down and watched YouTube videos, and I got about an hour out of that battery. Now, yeah, playing videos does strain the battery quite a bit. So, for standard light duty use, I probably could get a little bit more. So yeah, if I were going to use this as the main portable system, I probably would have to look into getting a battery that's in a little bit better shape. I'm not going to do that. I am debating, and I keep going back and forth. It's got an 80 gig hard drive in it, which is probably the drive that's shipped. Do I want to try putting an SSD in there? I did find on Amazon a source for IDE SSDs, which I'm quite sure are just SSDs with adapters built into the case. In your standard 2.5, have I got one here? Yes, we've got a 2.5 SSD case sitting right here. Most of this is wasted space. The SSD itself does not take up that much room. It's put into this case so that it will fit into places where you would ordinarily put a 2.5-inch hard drive. So you can get an adapter to go in there. Now, of course, this is a laptop. There's no way you're going to be able to fit a standard SSD with an adapter, an external adapter, in there. It just won't go. So, yeah, at some point I'm going to do that. I may not for this week. I may just live with the 80 gig hard drive, just because taking laptops apart. I have not had this laptop taken apart, but I have certainly taken apart laptops in the past, and it's doable, but it's a pain. I don't know. We will see about that. I'm really rooting for this machine. Just to talk a little about my history with Macs. I've mentioned my first Mac was a 20-inch, 17-inch probably back then, iMac G5 that my mother gave me. And I used that machine all the way up to 2009. In 2009, when Snow Leopard came out, it became clear, okay, yeah, we're going to have to move on in the future, because up to then, it had run Leopard, which was the current operating system. So I decided to bite the bullet then and buy a late 2009 iMac, which was an excellent machine, actually. I still got one. You may have seen my video. It's actually a similar machine that I had bought from my mother-in-law after I got mine. So I had that. I also had a Mac Mini, which I eventually replaced as well with a newer used Mac Mini. But I was teaching at that point. I was an itinerant teacher. I taught in, at that point, 3 different schools. And usually, I think actually in all of those cases, I was teaching on stages, there were no computers available, and they weren't going to give me a computer, so I had to have a machine that I could bring with me, and that was the PowerBook, a 15-inch PowerBook. And I just kept using that machine all the way up to 2011, when I finally decided, okay, we've got to step into more modern times, and I got a 2011 MacBook Pro, which I continued to use into retirement, actually, and it behaved really, really very well. It sadly was destroyed in the fire, along with just about everything else that I owned. And that's why I now have that 13-inch 2015 MacBook Pro. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this week with the PowerBook, and I certainly hope that you can join me on this, and that you take some enjoyment from it too. So, for now anyway, be good to other people, especially be good to yourselves, and take very good care.